Lyra Voss adjusted her telescope with practiced precision, her breath forming small clouds in the cool mountain air. The observatory dome's opening framed a perfect slice of the night sky, a canvas of darkness punctuated by ancient light. Tonight's meteor shower, according to her calculations, would be extraordinary. Anything yet? Dr. Hale called from his monitoring station. Not yet, Lyra replied, brushing a strand of copper hair from her face. But the preliminary readings are off the charts. Something about this shower is different. Her colleagues at the Astral Mountains Observatory had dismissed her theories about unusual radiation patterns in the Cassiopeia sector. Only Dr. Hale had supported her request for observation time, and even he seemed skeptical. Lyra didn't blame them. Her hypothesis challenged conventional astrophysics. The first streak of light cut across the sky, followed by another, then dozens more. Lyra gasped as her instruments registered unprecedented energy signatures. The meteors weren't burning up in the atmosphere. They were slowing down. "This is impossible," Dr. Hale muttered, staring at his readings. Lyra couldn't tear her eyes from the telescope. One light, brighter than the others, seemed to be moving with purpose, changing direction slightly as it descended toward the valley below. "I need to check this out," she said, already reaching for her jacket and field equipment. Lyra. Wait, but she was already hurrying down the observatory steps. Driven by a curiosity that overshadowed caution, her truck bounced along the mountain road as she followed the trajectory of the anomaly. Heart pounding with scientific excitement, the light had landed in a meadow near Crystal Lake. Lyra parked hastily, grabbing her equipment bag and flashlight. The night was eerily silent as she made her way through the trees, guided by a faint purple glow emanating from a clearing ahead. What she found wasn't a meteor. In the center of a perfect circle of glowing grass stood a figure humanoid, but unmistakably not human. Tall and lithe, with skin that shimmered with a subtle purple luminescence, like twilight-given form. The being turned, revealing delicate features framed by hair that seemed composed of flowing starlight. "You see me?" the being said, voice melodious and strange, carrying tones Lyra had never heard before. How curious. Lyra stepped forward, scientific training battling with instinctive awe. "What are you?" "My name is Zephyr. I come from what you would call a different plane of existence." The being moved with fluid grace, studying Lyra with eyes that contained swirling galaxies. "And you are?" "Lyra Voss. I'm an astronomer." She swallowed hard. "Are you the cause of the meteor shower?" Zephyr smiled, a gesture both familiar and alien. "The shower is merely a veil between worlds thinning. I followed its path to find something lost to my kind long ago." "What are you looking for?" Lyra asked, finding herself drawn closer. "Understanding," Zephyr replied, reaching out with slender fingers to touch a fallen leaf with wonder. "Of emotion. Of connection. Of what your kind calls love." Their eyes met, and Lyra felt a strange resonance, as if something in her recognized something in this otherworldly visitor. "No being should look that beautiful," Lyra whispered, the words escaping before she could catch them. Zephyr tilted her head, curious. "And yet you do not look away." Around them, the meadow glowed with ethereal light, and above, the stars continued their dance, witnesses to a meeting that would change to worlds forever. For 3 nights, Lyra returned to the meadow, telling no one of her discovery. Each time Zephyr awaited her, curious about human existence. Tonight they sat beside Crystal Lake, its surface reflecting countless stars like a mirror to another universe. "Your world is so solid," Zephyr observed, trailing fingers through the water. Ripples spread outward, catching moonlight. "In my realm, everything exists in a state of flux. Nothing remains constant except thought itself." Lyra watched, fascinated by how the water seemed to glow wherever Zephyr touched it. "What is your world called?" "Etheria isn't a name we use, but it's close to how you might understand it. We exist between dimensions, neither fully physical nor entirely energy." Zephyr looked up at the sky. "My kind are guardians of cosmic equilibrium. We maintain the balance between order and chaos across all realms." "Then why are you here?" Lyra asked, hugging her knees to her chest against the night chill. Zephyr was silent for a moment, the purple luminescence of her skin pulsing gently. I am an anomaly among my people. I feel ... curiosity, longing. These emotions are considered dangerous imperfections. The confession hung between them, intimate and vulnerable. In my world, Lyra said softly, those aren't imperfections. They're what make life worth living. That's why I crossed the void. To understand these feelings, Zephyr moved closer, radiating gentle warmth. My people believe emotional attachment leads to cosmic imbalance. For centuries, I've watched your species from afar. The way you love despite knowing you will lose everything, it's beautiful and terrifying. Lyra's scientific mind raced with questions, but something deeper stirred within her, connection transcending rational thought. She reached out, hesitant, and placed her hand over Zephyr's. The contact sent a gentle current through her body, like starlight flowing through her veins. You risk punishment by being here, don't you? She whispered. Yes. If discovered, I would be recalled and recalibrated. Zephyr's voice wavered. But something about you called to me across the cosmos. Lyra Voss. Something I couldn't ignore. Their faces were close now, breath mingling in the cool air. Lyra felt herself drawn into those eyes that contained universes, leaning forward until their lips met in a kiss that tasted of stardust and possibility. Energy coursed between them, the boundary between human and celestial momentarily dissolving. When they parted, the entire meadow glowed brighter, flowers blooming instantaneously around them despite the season. What's happening? Lyra asked, breathless. A resonance, Zephyr explained, looking both elated and concerned. Our energies are harmonizing. It's unprecedented. In the distance, a car engine sounded. Headlights swept through the trees. Someone's coming, Lyra said, standing quickly. It's your colleague, the one who watches you. Zephyr rose with impossible grace. He's followed you, Dr. Hale. But how would he? Your instruments detected our energy exchange. He's suspicious. Zephyr began to fade, becoming translucent. I must go. Return tomorrow at midnight. There's something important you must know. Before Lyra could respond, Zephyr dissolved into particles of light that scattered like fireflies among the trees, leaving only a lingering warmth on Lyra's lips as proof she hadn't imagined it all. Anomalous energy readings, unexplained botanical growth, and now you're sneaking out every night. Dr. Hale placed a folder on Lyra's desk the next morning, his expression severe. What aren't you telling me about the meteor shower? Lyra kept her face neutral, though her heart raced. I'm pursuing independent research. With unauthorized equipment from the lab? He raised an eyebrow. I covered for you with the board, but I need the truth. I found something. Someone, Lyra admitted carefully. A visitor. Not from Earth. Instead of the disbelief she expected, Dr. Hale's expression darkened. This isn't the first contact, is it? They've returned. His words sent a chill through her. What do you mean returned? Hale unlocked his tablet and showed her classified files, similar energy signatures detected throughout history. Always during celestial events, always followed by unexplained disappearances. They're dangerous, Lyra. Whatever it told you is manipulation. These beings harvest human consciousness for some purpose we don't understand. Lyra shook her head vehemently. No, Zephyr isn't like that. She's different. Hale's eyes narrowed. You've become emotionally involved. The accusation stung because it contained truth. That night, Lyra approached the meadow with new questions weighing heavily. Zephyr awaited her, but something had changed. The purple glow surrounding her flickered unstably. You're weakening, Lyra observed. Rushing to her side, my connection to Ithria is fading, Zephyr confirmed, her voice strained. The resonance between us has consequences I didn't anticipate. They sat beneath an ancient oak, Zephyr leaning against Lyra as if drawing strength from her. Dr. Hale showed me records, Lyra said carefully. Other visitations? People vanishing. Zephyr closed her galaxy-filled eyes. My kind have come before, seeking what I seek, understanding of emotion, but the process of complete resonance with a human. It transforms both beings. Neither remains as they were. Transforms how? Lyra asked, her scientist's mind grappling with implications. When an Aetherian and human form a deep connection, their energies intertwine irrevocably. The human's consciousness expands beyond physical limitations, while the Aetherian becomes anchored to material existence. Zephyr took Lyra's hand, placing it over the center of her chest, where a heartbeat now fluttered, something Zephyr hadn't possessed before. I'm becoming more human with each moment we spend together, and you're becoming something else. The revelation should have terrified Lyra, but instead, she felt a strange peace. Memories that weren't hers flickered through her mind-vast cosmic vistas. The sensation of drifting between stars, centuries of solitary observation. Is this why they consider emotions dangerous? Lyra asked. Because they bind you to our world? Yes, and because the transformation is irreversible. Zephyr's expression was solemn. If we continue this connection, neither of us can return to our former existence. You would lose your humanity, and I would lose my immortality. We would become something new together. Lyra's phone vibrated. A text from Hale. Don't trust it. I'm coming with security. They're coming for you, Lyra said urgently. We have to go. Zephyr stood, suddenly resolute. There's another option. I can return to Aetheria alone, sever our connection. You would remain fully human, with only memories of me fading like a dream. The thought was unbearable. In mere days, this being had awakened something in Lyra that made her feel more alive than she'd ever been. And if I don't want to forget? Lyra challenged, taking Zephyr's hands in hers. Then we have until dawn to decide our fate, Zephyr replied, as distant voices called Lyra's name through the forest. 2 worlds, 2 lives transformed forever or parted eternally. That is the choice before us now. They fled through the midnight forest, Zephyr's diminishing glow providing just enough light to navigate between ancient pines. Behind them, flashlight beams cut through darkness as Dr. Hale and security combed the woods. There's a cave system beneath the eastern ridge, Lyra said breathlessly. We can hide there until we figure this out. The cave entrance was narrow, barely visible behind a curtain of hanging moss. Inside, crystal formations caught what little light emanated from Zephyr, refracting it into rainbow patterns across limestone walls. Your physical form is changing, Lyra observed as they settled deeper in the cave. Zephyr's luminescence now pulsed with her heartbeat, something distinctly human. And you're beginning to perceive beyond physical limitations, Zephyr replied, touching Lyra's temple gently. You can see the energy fields around living things now, can't you? It was true. Since their first kiss, Lyra had noticed strange auras surrounding plants. Animals, even people Dr. Hale's, had been dark with suspicion and fear. What happens if we complete the transformation? Lyra asked, her voice echoing softly against stone walls. We become something unprecedented, neither fully human nor fully Aetherian. Zephyr's eyes reflected the crystal light. But there are risks beyond what I've told you. A distant rumble shook dust from the cave ceiling. That's not your pursuers, Zephyr said, suddenly alert. My people have noticed the disruption in cosmic energy. They're sending guardians to bring you back, to eliminate the anomaly. Us. A full resonance between our kinds has never been permitted to complete. It's considered too unpredictable, too dangerous to cosmic order. Lyra's scientific mind raced through possibilities. Then we need to accelerate it. Complete the transformation before they arrive. Lyra, listen to me. Zephyr took her face in cool hands. If we do this, everything you know, your career, your identity, perhaps even your memories of being human might be lost. And I would sacrifice immortality, becoming vulnerable to time and death. Another tremor shook the cave, stronger this time. Outside, the night sky would be fracturing, reality thinning as Aetherians pierced the veil between dimensions. Lyra thought of her life. Before, endless nights alone at the telescope, searching the stars for meaning, for connection. Science had been her refuge, but also her prison. I've spent my life studying the cosmos from a distance, she said, moving closer to Zephyr. Now, the universe is offering itself to me directly. How could I refuse? Their lips met as another tremor rocked the cave. This time, the crystals around them shattered, releasing prismatic light that enveloped them like a cocoon. Lyra felt her consciousness expanding, breaking free from physical constraints while simultaneously feeling more embodied than ever before. They moved together on the cave floor. Clothes discarded, skin against skin, one radiating earthly warmth, the other celestial energy. Each touch accelerated the transformation. Lyra's skin beginning to glow faintly while Zephyr's became more substantive, more present. "I can feel everything," Lyra gasped as their bodies intertwined. "The earth beneath us, the stars above, the space between atoms. And I can feel mortality," Zephyr whispered against her neck. "The preciousness of limited time, the exquisite pain of knowing this moment will end." Their union transcended physical pleasure, becoming a melding of essences. Around them, reality itself seemed to bend, the cave simultaneously existing and not existing, time flowing in multiple directions at once. Outside, Dr. Hale and his team reached the cave entrance just as a blinding light erupted from within, forcing them back. Above, the night sky fractured like glass, revealing glimpses of impossible geometries beyond the approaching guardians of Etheria. "We're running out of time," Zephyr breathed against Lyra's lips. "Then let time run out," Lyra replied, surrendering completely to their shared transformation. "Let's become timeless together." Dr. Hale shielded his eyes as the cave entrance erupted with light that defied scientific categorization, nor electricity, but something that seemed to bend the fabric of reality itself. His instruments failed, one after another, circuits overloaded by energies beyond their design parameters. Inside the cave, Lyra and Zephyr had ceased to exist as separate entities. What remained was neither human nor etherian, but a perfect synthesis of being of dual nature, simultaneously physical and ethereal. When consciousness returned, it was shared between two bodies that had been fundamentally transformed. Lyra opened eyes that now contained galaxies, and saw with clarity that transcended ordinary vision. Beside her, Zephyr breathed with lungs that no longer needed to process cosmic energy, now as mortal as any human, yet retaining knowledge spanning eons. "It's done," Zephyr whispered, touching Lyra's face with fingers that no longer glowed, but still carried a subtle iridescence beneath the skin. "Not quite," Lyra replied, feeling the approach of something vast and ancient. "They're here." They emerged from the cave holding hands, facing both human and cosmic threats. Dr. Hale and security personnel stood frozen in shock, while above, the sky had torn open to reveal three luminous figures, descending Etherian guardians. Their forms too geometrically complex for human perception. Anomaly detected, the guardians communicated directly into their minds. Aberration must be corrected. Balance must be restored. Lyra stepped forward, drawing on her new understanding of cosmic principles. "We are not an aberration. We are evolution. A new harmony." "Possible," the guardians responded. "The boundaries between realms are absolute." "Nothing is absolute," Zephyr countered, squeezing Lyra's hand. "That's what I learned from humanity. Everything changes, even cosmic law." Dr. Hale watched in astonishment as Lyra's former colleague, now something both more and less than human, began to glow with power that his instruments couldn't measure. "What we've become threatens no one," Lyra projected toward the guardians. "We've found balance within duality, not destroyed it." To demonstrate, she raised her free hand. The damaged forest around them began to heal, plants growing at impossible speeds, animals returning to investigate the strange light. Simultaneously, the tear in the sky began to mend itself, cosmic energies stabilizing rather than collapsing as the guardians had feared. "This is what emotion creates," Zephyr explained to the bewildered guardians. "Not chaos, but new forms of order. Not weakness, but strength through vulnerability." The guardians communicated among themselves in frequencies beyond even Lyra's enhanced perception. Finally, the central figure descended further. "The resonance is unexpected," it acknowledged. We will observe before judgment. As the guardians retreated, the sky healed completely, leaving only unusual constellations in their wake. Dr. Hale approached cautiously, scientific curiosity overcoming fear. "What happens now?" he asked, no longer seeing Lyra as merely human, nor Zephyr as a threat. "Now we bridge worlds," Lyra answered, her voice carrying harmonics impossible before. "We exist between realms, translating cosmic knowledge into human understanding. And experiencing the beauty of mortality through immortal eyes," Zephyr added, looking at the sunrise with newfound wonder. They established a sanctuary at the boundary of Crystal Lake and the Foresta, place where the veil between dimensions remained thin. There, over years that followed, they welcomed others seeking understanding beyond ordinary perception. Some were scientists like Lyra had been. Others were dreamers who had always sensed more to existence than physical reality allowed. Dr. Hale became their first student, and eventual ally. His research evolving beyond conventional physics into what academics would later call consciousness cosmology. Together, they created a new science that honored both empirical observation and transcendent experience. On quiet evenings, when students had departed and research was set aside, Lyra and Zephyr would walk to the lake's edge. There, beneath stars that now seemed like old friends rather than distant mysteries, they would embrace one body temporarily mortal, but cosmically aware. The other immortal in essence, but embracing the exquisite fragility of human experience. "Do you regret it?" Lyra asked one night, decades later, her once copper hair now streaked with silver, though her eyes still held universes. "Trading eternity for this finite existence?" Zephyr, whose ageless features had subtly weathered with shared years, smiled and traced the lines at the corners of Lyra's eyes with tender appreciation. "Eternity without love is emptiness," she replied, kissing Lyra beneath a meteor shower much like the one that had first brought them together. "I traded endless nothing for something precious and brief. How could that ever be a sacrifice?" Around them, reality shimmered slightly, acknowledging the truth. They had discovered that the greatest cosmic mystery was not found in distant galaxies or theoretical physics, but in the inexplicable miracle of connection between conscious beings, whether born of stardust or stellar fire. Their love had not destroyed cosmic order as the guardians feared, but expanded it, creating space within universal law for the most powerful force in existence: the capacity of consciousness to recognize itself in another, across any distance, against any odds, beyond any boundary, even the ones between worlds.